Hi, and welcome to episode 6 of the Home Fix Show. We're back again. Barry's back in his blues, so we're back to the Home Fix Show again.
Yeah, having done the whole thing about my other business last month, which has got some good coverage on social media. So glad to promote Asprey last month. But this month is very much introducing another guest. We have the CEO of Trade Mastermind and 2015 Apprentice winner, Joseph Valente.
We are super excited
really
about
good
it.
to get him on. It's we have had some great guests over the last few months, but as Joseph being the one that got us into this position, signing up for the Trade Mastermind and these podcasts, it's been a tough 3 months trying to get him on board into his busy diary. But we're delighted to have him, and we hope you like listening to his journey from entrepreneur right into winning the Apprentice and onto the Trade Mastermind journey that he's been through.
And at literally only 35, it's a really fantastic, thoroughly inspirational story. So do tune in. We are still very, very grateful for everyone that is watching or listening to our podcast. I know some of my great friends have been listening to it on the train or doing the ironing, but please do continue to tune in. And we really hope that you enjoy today's.
No, again, thank you from me as well. We appreciate all of the comments that we're getting on social media, and we hope you enjoy episode 6. Thank you.
Thank you.
So as we just mentioned, we're about 3 months in the making now. We've been badgering Joseph Valente here, the founder of Trade Mastermind. Was trying to make this happen in April, then May, then June, and now we're into July. But finally, welcome, Joseph. It's great to have you.
Glad to be here. Thanks for your patience.
Well, partly the reason we are here because this whole Trade Mastermind, trade podcasting is all your brainchild. And we are going to delve a little bit more into your journey, how you arrived at this. So if you don't mind sort of giving us a bit of an idea of how Trade Mastermind started, but what your journey was like before the Apprentice winner, 2015. Well done. I did actually watch that as well. But yeah, tell us a little bit about that journey, how it all then ended into the Apprentice and where you are now.
Cool. How long you got?
Oh, well.
JV's life story. Once I start telling it, there's no shutting me up. Okay, good.
You taught me how to shut you up, so we'll do that.
All right, give me specifically where you want me to start.
So having obviously known a little bit about your journey, let's go back to the very beginning. So before you had the Apprentice, you had Impra.
Yeah.
So how you sort of growing that and then where the whole Lord Sugar thing came in.
Okay, cool. So in 2011, I was working as a full-time employed gas engineer. Yeah. I was on a good salary, 40, 50K a year, and I was doing quite well. But I knew that I wanted more, and I wanted to really get myself into a position financially where I could take care of my mum and put her into retirement. And being employed, it just wasn't giving me enough income to be able to take care of myself and her. And so entrepreneurship and being a business owner seemed to be the way to be able to make it happen. But I didn't know that I wanted to be an entrepreneur until about 2011. I was 21/22 years of age, and my mum got me Lord Sugar's autobiography for Christmas. So The Apprentice actually happened I manifested The Apprentice 3 years before it came into reality. So she got me this book for Christmas. It was a big thick book like this. What you see is what you get. Lord Sugar's autobiography. And I hadn't read a book for many, many, many years, but it was that period between Christmas and New Year. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to give it a go. I'm a big Apprentice fan anyway. I like the show. I always kind of watched it in my teens, thinking that I'd love the London vibe and the city attracted me. But I thought, because I'm in trade, I'm never going to be able to go and do that, right? I'm never going to be able to become a business person. So I read this book, and very quickly I started to see that actually, you know what, Lord Sugar had come from council estate in London. He didn't have any, backing from his family. He didn't go to the right school. He wasn't given a level up, and he was able to build billionaire wealth in one lifetime. And for me, growing up, it was quite tough. My dad didn't work. We drank every day. My mum worked 3 jobs to keep the household going. And, you know, they were low-paying jobs, cleaning, dinner lady, you know, all the stuff that she could do part-time effectively around trying to cook the dinner, do the ironing, look after the kids, you know, run the household. And so we were always struggling for money. And that always seemed to be the negative undertone of our household, was always worrying about where money was going to come from. And so for me, I didn't want to live that life as I got older. And my dad left when I was 13, and I didn't see him again until I was like 27. He passed away a couple of years ago, and I didn't really have a relationship with him for years and years and years. I didn't see him or speak to him. And about 21 years of age, I was just making excuses. Didn't come from the right family, didn't go to the right school, expelled from school, dad left. All the things that you tell yourself as to why you can't be successful. And reading Lord Sugar's book, he had it rougher than I did. And he was able to be successful. So very quickly, that made me realize that I was just making excuses. I was holding myself back. I was in my own way, because it's easier to make excuses about why you can't be successful than it is to actually go and try. And that book just gave me the permission that I needed. You know, it was almost like, right, if he could do it, then so can I. And over that 2-week period, I was reading this book for like 7 hours straight till 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. And at the end of it, I decided that I was going to start this business. I was going to take out a loan. I was going to start a plumbing company. And I did exactly that. And in the 31st of December, 2011, I called up my boss and I said, Mark, I'm not coming back. Okay, I'm starting out my company and I'm going to go off and do this thing. And also at the same time, I called up my mum and I said to her, hey, Mum, you never guess what? Okay, I'm going to start a business. I'm going to put you into retirement in the next 5 years. Yeah, your life's going to...
Oh, no, what's he doing now? I've read your book as well, so the stories of your childhood were very interesting. And she's going, Joe, why are you doing this?
Absolutely. And in the same context, she says to me, what do you mean you started a business? You don't know anything about business. Why would you take out a loan? Why would you quit your job? And I was like, whoa, Mum, don't worry. Everything's going to be fine and I'll take care of you.
Oh, wow.
And and that's when Improgas was born. The name meant improvise and entrepreneur in Latin. Okay, and that came out as Impravio. So I thought the business had good entrepreneurial DNA in its brand, which made me super passionate about it. And I went on to take that company by the time I got on The Apprentice to just under 7 figures. It was a general maintenance business. And going on The Apprentice for me wasn't about winning a TV show. I didn't want to become a reality TV star. I actually wanted a business mentor because I was working 7 days a week. I'd hit my ceiling and I knew that I needed information to get to the next level. I needed someone to guide me.
Yeah.
And I applied, got on the show, and then...
How did you find out you'd got on the show? What how did that happen? How did it make you feel? Were you like, are they winding me up? Or
it's 10 years ago. So it was just like an email saying, I mean, you must go through lots of different rounds, I guess.
Yeah, do you want to know something, actually? And I don't usually tell this story too much, but... have you seen the original Wall Street film with Charlie Sheen and Michael?
Yes.
Years ago, yeah.
And he's like the young entrepreneur looking up to the older guy.
Yeah.
Well, it was a Friday night and I was in bed watching this film, and it was just like this, and he seemed to be about the same age as me. And I was thinking about Lord Sugar, and I'd applied about 3 weeks ago. I hadn't seen any email come into my inbox saying that I'd got on. And I just thought, actually, do you know what? I've not checked my junk. And it was about 2 o'clock in the morning, and I went through the junk inbox because I'd watched the film, and then I saw that I'd got an invite for next Saturday, to go to London. And I jumped out of bed, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, yeah, brilliant. And so that's how I found out.
Oh, wow. Imagine if you didn't check your jump. Yeah.
Just to get to stage one.
Just to get to stage one.
Oh, wow.
But what I did that was very strategic, because I always try and get ahead, is there was a lady in Peterborough called Nuran Ahmed, who had been on the year before.
All right.
So that it was the next day I went and I knew that she had a clothing stall in Peterborough Market. So I went about 11 o'clock. I didn't know her. I just went to find her, and I found her, and she was at her stall. And I said, "Hey, how's it going? I've just got an invite to The Apprentice. It's next Saturday. Can you tell me what happens on the interview day?" So she literally gave me what was going to happen on the first part of the show, first part of the interviews. So I kind of cheated a little bit. She told me what was going to go down. And the first bit was this 30-second intro to who you are. Because there was, I think on that day, 60,000 people apply. And on that day in London, there was about 7 people. So you can imagine, like, on the X Factor queues, they don't show it on The Apprentice, but they do on the X Factor, yeah? But it's like that, but everybody's dressed in a suit.
Oh, wow.
Right? And they're standing outside and, you know, it's all typical Apprentice style profile, all lined up on this street. And so the first 30 seconds, you had to, like, stand out, and they brought you in a room 12 at a time, and there's cameras in there. Everyone's nervous. Nobody knew what was going to happen except for me, right? And so they go to this person. They're like, "Right, Dave, tell me who you are. You've got 30 seconds," and they just press a timer. Dave's not ready for it, and he's like an accountant,
Wrapping a headline,
you know, Derby or something. And he's like, "Hi, my name's Dave, and I'm an accountant, and I've come from Derby," and like that.
Got talent.
Yeah.
They get
Ejector seat.
But I had a whole script. "My name's Joseph Valente. I'm the godfather of business, and I'm here to give laws."
So it's you girls who make up these cheesy lines and say, "I'm the Lionel Messi of the business world," and you go, "Oh, come on." You know?
I mean, I put some big statements on my application form. I want to be like,
Love to have read it.
I want the apples, the cars, and the money. I wrote that. I'm the godfather of business. I'll make love to you, an offer you cannot refuse.
Brilliant.
You have to.
But the point is, you've got to stand out, haven't you? You've got to be different. You've got to be unique, and that's clearly what you've done.
Well, the first episode is always full of these 16, and I call them like wannabes, really. And then you get, I always sit there and I watch it and I go, nah. Yeah.
They're not going to lie.
Is that what you thought of me, Larry?
No, I didn't actually. But you know what? I have gone back and I have watched snippets, and you can just see the change in terms of that. But you can see. Obviously, you're obviously more confident now because you're now sort of 15 years in business or whatever it is. It's like, but yeah, when you do watch The Apprentice, I've watched it for years as well, since probably season 2. But I've always wondered how it's filmed and like, how does that get to the end and none of them actually, the winner finds out on that show? Yeah. So do you film loads of endings or something?
Yeah. So basically what happens is, and it was really brutal, right? Because I went away for, so it was in January was when the interview started. And there was loads of rounds of interviews. There wasn't just that day. There was 4 stages on that day, but there was loads of rounds of interviews. And then by April 26th, that was when we left to go away. It was the same day as the London Marathon. And then you show up, they take your phone off you, they take your wallet off you, and then you have no
communication
with the outside world for the next 3 months, basically, if you win the show. So I left my
phone home from a London
couldn't ring the business, couldn't ring my house.
Wow.
Where did everyone think you'd gone? Where did everyone think you'd gone? Vanished off the planet.
Was Impra was doing about 600-700 grand. I was, the main operator. I had Debbie. She was my superwoman, but she worked part-time, and she'd run a small plumbing and heating business before, and she was in her 50s, and she was working like Monday from 9 till 3, Wednesday 9 till 3, and I sat her down because I was allowed to tell 3 people, and I said, "Debbie, I've been given this opportunity to go on to The Apprentice, and I genuinely think I can win. Yeah. And if I do, I'm going to come back with 250 grand, and I'm also going to come back the winner of the show, and also a billionaire business partner, but so I believe in myself and I think I could do it. But if I don't execute, and if I disappear for 3 months because of how heavily involved in this business I am in this business, it could go bust, right? And we could lose it all, and you might lose your job. But if I come back, I'll rebuild it.
That's a hell of a chat, isn't it?
Yeah, but that's the risk that's going to happen.
Poor Debbie.
I was taking 1,000 calls a day. As far as I was concerned, there was no way she was going to be able to run it.
No.
There was like impossible. And I had about 4 or 5 plumbers working for me. They were good guys. She looked at me. She said, "You know what, Joseph? I 100% believe in you. I will run your company for you, and I will keep it. Don't worry. Just go and win." Yeah, fair play.
You have to win now.
You know,
That's like that Rocky moment, isn't it?
I know. So I went away for 3 months and then went through all of the tasks, and you start off with about 18 people in the house, and then week by week, less and less people are there. And then it was the last 3 days was just me and Varna and the camera crew in this massive mansion. It was really weird. And then it was Sunday night, and I was like, right, this is it. Okay, it's like I've got to the final boardroom. I've got to go and pitch my heart out to win. Okay, and then at the end, just before you get pulled in for the last time, they say, and we've got to let you know that you will not find out today. And I was like, what? They were like, you will not find out today, and you're going to have to record you saying, "Thank you, Lord Sugar, you've won." And you have to, the other person's going to do that. And you won't now find out until you've won, until the 23rd of December when the show airs, and Lord Sugar will tell you.
What month are you in now?
June.
Oh, God.
I've been there for 3 months.
Wait.
Yeah.
I've got to wait
I was
5 months to buy those.
gutted.
Oh,
Yeah.
my
And,
God.
Is there a reason? Is there also a reason that they spend that 5 months, because you will present your business plans and you do your presentation? Does that give them 5 months for due diligence?
Proper due diligence.
Yeah, make sure you haven't.
And also, like, when the show airs, like, for me, at the time, I was 25. I was a bit of a Jack the Lad. You know, you go out and you kind of get loads of attention. Anything could happen between October and December.
Yeah, it's really...
Guys going out nightclubbing, all that type of stuff, right? So they're protecting themselves, aren't they?
Yeah.
Right. And then any stories that would come out from the press, he knows that you might not have told him, you know, because he said before I left, make sure you tell me everything. And I think at that point he knew. He was like, if there's anything that, you know, you have done, make sure you tell me, okay? It will come out. Do not tell me. I was like, I've told you everything. I've told you every week. Okay.
Why did he believe you? Why didn't he believe you?
And I had to wait until the 23rd of December.
And then he just called you. He literally called you.
Yeah,
and that was it.
He literally called me in the morning, and so I turned up at the studio and to go out and film the You're Hired live, and that was on the Saturday night.
It's actually Aylesbury Styles at the time, would it?
I had Jack D.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah, that was quite good. Sorry.
Did you find out sat there on that show?
Yeah, no.
Would you have
find
find
out
out before?
Morning.
Right. Okay.
So I got there they put you in a hotel the night before. I got there at 9 o'clock. My family and everybody was coming up to the You're Hired show. So they didn't know until I walked out. But I knew in the morning. And they sat me in a room on my own, and he rings up and he's like, "Joseph, you've won." I was like, "Brilliant, thank you very much." And then that was it. He just put the phone down. And then like, Lord Sugar that rings you. Yeah, it was Lord Sugar that rings you. And that was quick as the conversation went. I was like, all right, thanks.
So congratulations.
And then I got sat in a room for the next 10 hours until the evening, and then went out. And what a feeling. But what was your original question there? What did you say? Because I wanted to answer that bit, just to go back.
About The Apprentice.
No, it was about the time that I was away.
The 3 months, what was it like?
Yeah, it was something.
Had the business survived as well?
Yeah,
Had it done well?
So came back, the business had survived.
Yeah.
Debbie had kept it going, you know, which was absolutely amazing. So that's a lesson for any business person watching this: is you think that you are the center of the universe and stuff can't work without you. And then that, for me, was the first lesson that actually I'd built something that, even though it had a very small infrastructure, could work without me for 3 months. And so, you know, you do have to learn to let go and take a step back, and you think it isn't going to work. And when you're forced into that scenario, you know, you have to make it work. So the business worked. That was brilliant. So I kept the business, came back. No, the original question was, where did you tell them you were going?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So on the Sunday night, I thought, I'm going to be away for 3 months, and the estate agents, everybody would ring me every day. So I sent an email out, and because I'm half Italian, I thought this was a smart move. I've got to go to Italy. My auntie lives on a goat farm in the mountains. There's no signal or Wi-Fi. She's critically ill. I'm not going to be back for a while. Okay, and I pressed send at 10 o'clock on Sunday night, and they didn't speak to me again for 3 months. And then every week they kept saying, is Joseph okay? Where has he gone? Why can't he ring?
Somebody killed him.
Yeah, that's the sort of thing. Even if you'd find a way of getting contact back home.
I know. In this day and age, I know it's a thing, but
You will never get away with it. Yeah.
So, you know, but what also happened at the same time, is that we got caught in Manchester doing a street task with all the filmers and me standing next to Claude, and it went on Twitter saying, these are the new candidates, and I'm there in a suit and a tie, and it got around locally. And then when I came back, some people were like, you've been on The Apprentice, haven't you? And I was like, no, I haven't. And I was like, who's that then? And I was like, I don't know. Let's let me see me.
Next quiz.
Yeah, so they started to pick up.
Sorry to interrupt you. Who were the 3 people you told? So Debbie.
Or
do you want to share? Your mum. Good, good. I'm glad you told her.
And my girlfriend at the time.
Oh, good, good. Oh. I'm glad you told your mum. That was the important thing, because at this point she's probably thinking, right, okay, he's got his job, he's doing this, he's doing that. Is he okay?
I think it'd be more interesting to have not told your girlfriend as well.
Yeah.
I'd have never panned out.
You wouldn't have had the girlfriend by the time we get back.
Nah.
Just bits the beer. So yeah.
Brilliant.
Wow. That is a story. God, that is a journey and a half. That is 100,000,000%. But what did the journey transpire to? What happened after The Apprentice? Is it as crazy as you expect it to be? Does it change your life? Yeah. Does everyone look at you going, oh, he's the one that won The Apprentice? Yeah. Is it that kind of life?
So, I mean, like as soon as it goes live on the national papers, you know, in your hometown is weird because everywhere you go, everybody's like looking. And even if they're not saying, everybody just looks all of the time. So that was really weird. Okay. And then like, as you go to London and you get off the train, like everyone's like, oh, Joseph, coming up for selfies. I loved all of that.
Yeah,
me.
I really enjoyed that.
Feel like that in Peterborough.
No. So I loved all of that and that attention. And so that was weird, but it was good fun. Started to meet new people, getting invited to new events.
Yeah.
So that was great. It was almost like, and then kind of you have this big build up to winning. And then in January, you realise that you've got to go back and run your business. It's like,
and you made a massive promise for the sugar.
I know, I've got to run my business now, but I want to do the hype stuff.
Yeah.
That's fun. And we just can make money out of that. You want to run a plumbing company anymore? I want to go off and do this exciting shit over here. But I was very ambitious and I wanted to grow the business. So kind of I got stuck into it straight away. The whole experience with Lord Sugar was not what I was expecting. I was expecting like a expert team, you know, Lord Sugar really supporting you and nurturing you, you know, really helping you with strategy and planning. And none of that transpired. And that's not me being ungrateful. It's just that wasn't what it was. And I learned so much from it, but it was almost like a different version of mentoring. Lord Sugar was as hard, if not harder, as he is on the show. It was very matter of fact. Everything's about the numbers. You got an hour of his time every month, which is a lot of time, but you got his kind of 3 accountants, and that was it. There was no sales, marketing, operations. They didn't know home improvement.
And I wanted to know the numbers.
Yeah, I wanted to know the numbers. And they kept asking me for all the answers. I was like, well, I've come on here because I want you to help me. I don't know the answers. I don't know what we're going to do next. You tell me. I want to grow and scale. I thought that's what you were coming and give me the advice on. And very quickly, I realised that that wasn't the case. And after a while, I got very frustrated because I realised that the game was not what I thought. And I thought that because I was like sold on his book. Like in his late 20s, he started to have this meteoric rise with Amstrad, right? He went public and the value of business was going up. So in my mind, I'd sold myself that that's who I was going to become. And that's exactly what I was going to do. And he was going to be the guy to get me there. And kind of, you know, when you read a book and you create this story and vision and you paint it in your mind, I was like painting this story of that. And I realized quite quickly that they actually weren't bothered about scale. And as long as you did all right and you showed up every every year to say you've made a bit of a profit, and you're like, and he could report on your hire that my business partners are doing well. That's all they want you to do. They don't want you to come with more risk. They don't want you to come with more growth. They want you to have your hour, stay quiet, and run your little business. And that's not what I want to do.
Staying quiet, really.
And so I actually started to get a bit demotivated by it after a while. And I was like, I want to grow. I want to get to the next level. I knew they didn't want me to. And he was very clear that after the 250, I'm not putting any more money into the business. I don't do it with any of the other apprentices. I'm like, but I want to go national, so I need more funding. Okay, well, I'm not giving it to you. Okay, so I'm like, well, that immediately throttles the growth. There's no point giving me 250 to get me a bit bigger, and then I need to go here, but I can't get the finances to go there. So I was like, well, what am I going to do? How am I going to do it? If he's now holding me back, I still want to do it. It's my journey. I've got time to hit it. So I went in there one day and I was like, look, I want to scale nationally. Okay, I want to grow. I understand that it's risky, and you might not want to take on the risk, but I'm prepared to take on the risk. And so I suggest what we do is part ways, and you let me buy you out and I'll go it alone. And if it screws up, it's on my head and you got out in good time. And he said, you know what? No one's ever spoken to me like that before. Okay, I'll give you 48. Give me 48 hours and I'll come back to you. And in 48 hours, we did a deal. This was 2 years in working with him. And my business had grown quite a lot. It probably doubled in size to like 2 mil. So I'd got some good growth with him, but I wanted to scale faster. And we did a deal and we got out. And I had about 40 people working for me at the time. And I remember thinking, shit, have you made the right call?
What have I done?
You've got to go back and tell everyone that Lord Sugar's now out. It's going to get picked up in the press. Are people going to say negative things, that there's a problem with the business? But I just went for it anyway. I'm like, right, screw it. I'm all in, right? This investor relationship has gone as far as it can go. And I think that with any investor that you bring into your business, it's important to understand that that value can serve you until it doesn't serve you. And there's no point carrying on in a business if you're misaligned. The vision's got to be clear, and they've both got to want to work towards it, or one's holding the other one back, or one's dragging the other one along. So that was kind of my first lesson, to know when to end something that had run its course.
You already still had this vision in your head, which is probably where what you saw or you expected to get from Lord Sugar is maybe what your journey is what you do now, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I wanted Trade Mastermind.
Yeah.
Someone that was going to teach me about the industry and tell me what I needed to do and how to grow and market and everything, not just keep telling me about because most of his team were accountants. It's just like boring accountants. I don't want to see the boring accountants on people that are going to would be fun to work with. And to grow, and that wasn't the case. So, I bought him out, and then that business was doing about 2 million at that point. I took it national, and within another 2.5 years, changed the operating model, got it to £1 million a month. And in 2019, I was probably about half the country, and I was like, right, I was pretty sick of it, to be honest. I felt like I was still growing because I wanted to go national, but I was also now just growing to prove a point that I could do it 10 times bigger without him than what I could do it with him. I wasn't enjoying it anymore. To be honest, I probably would have got out of the business if I hadn't have won the Apprentice. I started going heavy into property when I was in my early 20s, and I wanted to do that more than I wanted to run a trades business. But I got stuck in it effectively because of that, and I felt like I had to just fulfill my time. In 2019, I was like, right, I'm either going to make 100 million by the end of this year, or I'm going to go bust. Right, something's going to happen, but I'm going for either one of them, right? I'm growing to whatever outcome that looks like. And so I just went on this mad scale journey to national. One of the lessons that I learned was that you can scale national, but you've got to have the money to stay there.
Right.
And I'm good at getting it there. I was good at getting it there, but I didn't know about funding. I didn't know about raising finance. And then if your business is national and you have a couple of bad sales months when it's working on direct sales cash and carrying the overheads that we were carrying, we had to do £50,000 a day in boiler sales to break even.
Wow.
That's a lot of boys.
Right? A lot of boilers.
I was 29 at this time. The pressure was horrendous.
About sale, but
it was killing me, right? I hated it. It was just never ending, and I couldn't see a way forward. And 2019 November, I knew we were in trouble. The sales had halved, cash flow wasn't coming in, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to run out of money. And it was Christmas was like 8 weeks away, and I've got all these people that I've taken care of for years that had worked hard for me. Yeah. I'm thinking about them more than anything, right? I can't let this go down before Christmas. Yeah, they're going to have no money. What about if I can't pay their wages? You know, it was hard. It was really, really hard. And then anyway, I managed to survive a few more months, got to Christmas, and then I found this company that was going to buy the business, okay? And they weren't going to pay a lot for it, but they were going to buy it, and they were going to take everything within the business, the debt, the staff, you know, the contracts and everything. So it was like a win-win. I'm like, right, get it over to these guys. That's my people protected, and it's the customers protected. What I didn't realize at this time was that these guys were playing me that were going to buy the business, and that they were sharks, and they knew that I was at the mercy of them, and they dragged it out, right, all the way up until basically the first week of January, and then they came to me and said, actually, we're not going to do the deal in this way. All we're going to do is buy the brand. We'll take your staff though, okay, so you got that bit done, but all the debt and everything else, you're going to shut down in the company, and that's staying on your head. And my deal was that they were taking everything, right? And so everybody was going to get paid and all of that type of stuff. And then they basically, I had no days left. I was running out of time. I had literally days left. And so I had to sign it and do the deal. And then they took the staff, which was good. They did take all of the service contracts and all the warranties, which was good, okay? But we had to shut the company down with debt in it. And that meant people lost money. And it wasn't great. It was not a nice thing. You know, I'm an ethical businessman, and I spent a decade of my life building that thing with good intentions to build a great company, to deliver great service, and never to not be in a scenario where we couldn't pay a supplier or anybody like that. But business is a risk. And
how did you go from the all-time high of being the winner of The Apprentice to that all-time low? How's that comprehensible?
It was all into almost depression.
Brutal. Yeah. I mean, when you guys have seen Alfie Vest before, Talk, I think maybe, but he said to me, like, all you did was classic case of somebody that gets a fast rise in their 20s. You just start to bought your own hype. Yeah. You thought you were indestructible. And I genuinely did. There was a period from 25 where I launched my book. I got in Forbes. I was winning every award. I was launching cities. My sales were scaling in the millions. I thought everything I touched turned to gold. Yeah. And then I think the universe or God taught me a lesson. And I'm like, right, this guy needs a wake-up call. And he gave me a right hook and put me all the way back down.
Wow.
And said, you're going to learn again. And it was a very bitter pill to swallow. Obviously, I put myself in the public eye. I'm not shy to celebrate the things that I do. So I knew the recourse that was coming off that. A lot of people would want to see me lose that, you know, I'd grown up with or that were around or even people close to me. So they were waiting, which really pissed me off.
It's quite sad, isn't it? Well, it is quite sad that people are jealous. That's what that is. That's just jealousy, seeing you succeed and going, moaning about it. That's all that is. But you know.
But okay. I handed over the keys to these guys. They took over the business. I went and briefed the team, and then all of a sudden, I was on my own. I just broke up with my partner, had to move out of the town I was living in. I came back here. I moved into an apartment on my own. I hadn't got the business now. But I'd already thought of Trade Mastermind towards the end, so I knew my next thing. And that first 2 weeks was rough. When it came out in the papers, that hit me hard. It was like, Apprentice winner went bust. Okay, they didn't give the full details that I sold bit. I mean, all the good shit I did, they pulled out all the bad stuff. Yeah. And that came out. It was just that for those 2 weeks, it was super rough, right? So Lord Sugar's been in my life 3 times. He's been influential to me 3 times. The first one, I started my business off the back of his book. Yeah. Okay. The next one, he propelled me into success by picking me to win the show. Yeah. The third one, so I'm sitting in my bed, okay, and I pull up on my phone, and he's retweeted one of the articles saying the Joseph's plumbing firm go bust, and he wrote on there, you can't win them all. I was fuming, right? And I'm no joke, I rose like a phoenix of the ashes out of the bed, and I'm like, right, everyone's going to see what I'm capable of right now, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to fight and I'm going to show you who I am. There's no way I'm going down. And so that was the moment. And then from then, honestly, I got so mad, and I do think that anger, right, is a great fuel of energy. Absolutely. And I just went and attacked it. Trade Mastermind was born, and Trade Mastermind was born out of what I did right and what I did wrong. And
so I've got the timings right in my head for what you've just said. When you've had the idea of Trade Mastermind, but if this is 20, you're going into COVID.
Yeah, well, funny enough, if it had been 3 more months, the company would have gone bust anyway from COVID. So I would have had a slightly better exit story, and then I could have blamed it on COVID.
So many companies did.
Yeah, I know. And so it was Jan the 6th that I came out and handed over the keys, and then
2 months later in lockdown.
2 months later, lockdown hit, and those guys were able to survive about another month, and then it all went anyway.
Did it?
Yeah, the company that bought it, they needed millions to keep it going. And they weren't through lockdown. They couldn't trade. The sales guys couldn't go out, so they weren't prepared to put the money in, and they floated it.
Oh, wow.
But that was a benefit because Chris and Malvina stayed with the company. Yeah. Right. So Malvina's been with me since 2012. She was like my second or third employee in the office. Right. So I knew Malvina's skill set. I actually took from Impra, I took my PA, Sophie, and she was a great all-rounder. I'd worked with her for years. She was very loyal to me. She came with me. I went and said to her, look, you can stay with this company or you can come with me. Okay, I've got some money left to fund up this business, and I've got an idea of building this thing. And I also took the young social media apprentice, and I took the videographer because I knew I need marketing and content to get my game going. So I took 3 people and carried them out of the business with me. So I kept a little team. I had about 100 people at the time. So I went from this big business working 7 days a week to 3 people, working from my apartment. It was very surreal.
I'm picturing this Jerry Maguire moment where he stood there and he's got to go, and he's who's coming with me? And everyone's like, nah, not me, I'm on it.
It's so weird. I had to give him the keys, and then the dude was looking at me. He was like, you need to leave. And I'm like, bye everyone, took a box. Yeah. Took a box of some old certificates to revive our glory days, some old awards in our Sugar's book. Went and packed to my office. And so yeah, the depression was there, but it didn't stay for too long. And at the time, it really hurt. It was like my ego took a hit. I felt like I'd let everybody down. I'd let my employees down. I'd let my family down. I'd let all my hard work and all my pride and my name and my reputation down by screwing up. And I was so annoyed that I'd not done it in a different way, but it is what it is. And I think as time went on, and especially with what we've achieved with Trade Mastermind, and now, it's 5 years ago now, right? So, it was quite some time ago. I've got older, I'm more mature, and I understand that I needed that. Yeah. Because if it had happened to me further down the line, I might not have been able to recover. But the lessons that I took from it have made me a much stronger educator. Yeah, so I can help more people because I know what's going to go wrong if you don't prepare yourself. It's made me a more mature entrepreneur and business leader, so I can know what to do in my own business to try and protect the downside as you scale fast. And it hasn't stopped me scaling fast again, as you can see from what I did here. Just been able to do it faster just by learning the lessons. And, unfortunately, you don't know what you don't know. If you're going to scale quickly, it's always a risk. All of the stakeholders that came with me on the journey, the suppliers and everybody else, they understood that it was a fast-paced company and that it was risky to grow. And you just have to take the lessons and go again.
Yeah.
Good.
Fantastic.
Well, we've been on the journey with you with Trade Mastermind for over a year now.
Yeah,
wow. And we can say as well, we've seen so many changes in the rapid growth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember coming and we were sat in a room with, I think, what's the first day called?
Masterclass.
Discovery Day.
Discovery Day.
And I think there's probably only 20 people in the room.
Yeah.
And then when we joined the academy, there was maybe 40, 50. And then all of a sudden, 3 months later, we're in a room upstairs and there's 80.
Bigger room over.
And now you're doing it over 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
Kind of like, Jesus, this is, it's just, and everything sort of changes. And
And we're privileged to be on all the WhatsApp groups, but constantly there's a new person, there's a new person. Like, wow, how do you keep up?
But you've added more verticals to it all the way along, isn't it? Yeah. It was just Trade Mastermind, then became Recruit, then there was these.
Well, if you go back to 2020, the first product that I launched was a course called Power to Succeed, and it was a 2-hour sales course, and it was £1,000. And now we do 3.
And this was a one-to-one type thing?
No, it was an e-course.
Oh, right.
I just watched it. It was just videos and a bit like the university. It was a 2-hour course.
Yeah.
So I started up selling a 2-hour course. So lockdown for me actually was the best thing that ever happened because all distractions were removed.
True.
There was nowhere to go. Was in my apartment 7 days a week. I kept the 3 people that I said to you and took them with me. And all I did every day for 14 hours a day was build new content, create the courses and build this business model. And January happened. I had the idea for Trade Mastermind. I started to advertise in January, that I was going to do coaching for trades businesses. In that month alone, just off my social media, regardless of the press, I was able to sign up 20 customers that were paying me £1,000 an hour to do a 1-hour coaching session with them. So I got to a position in like 3 weeks where all of a sudden I had 20 grand a month coming in. I'd lost all my income, everything gone from Impra. I had my savings and the stuff that I'd taken with me, but a lot of my wealth was invested in Impra for my big payday. So, I had to build cash flow again to build this company. So very quickly, I got to 20 grand a month recurring revenue for 20 hours of my time a month. And so I took all of that money and I just heavily reinvested. Every penny went back into the business, into marketing. Then on March the 31st, I had another spot of bad luck. I spent 20 grand on promoting this event, right, in Canary Wharf in London at a hotel. And it was the first time I'd ever run an event, a Discovery Day. I was kind of making products that I thought I was going to sell. And it cost us about 20 grand, but there was 150 trades businesses registered to come to this event. And obviously I was going to sell something to bring in the money and the revenue to come back. And that night, or the previous night on the Friday, that was when they first, just before lockdown, stopped mass gatherings. So nobody came. Only 10 people showed up. I spent 20 and only 10 people showed up. And I was like, oh my God, that's all the money that I've just been building up for this thing. Anyway, we did make some sales on that day, so it brought a bit back in. But I was like, because I was going to do the event business. And I was like, well, what am I going to do now? So I immediately had to pivot and learn how to do webinars. So I bought this book from Russell Brunson called Expert Secrets. And it was a guy that built ClickFunnels, and it was all about webinars. So I read this book 3 times in about a week to learn how to do webinars. And then I built a webinar business. And then that just exploded. And every week we were running 1 to 2 webinars. And off each webinar, I was doing about £10,000 to £20,000 in sales of a £1,000 course, and people were paying up front for it. So very quickly I was getting in cash flow. About this time, lockdown happened and Malvina and Chris became available. So I was like, right, even though I kind of didn't want to hire many people at that time, I brought them straight back in. I plugged Malvina into the customer service of this business straight away to make sure it was world class from day one. Chris became my business partner to help me grow it because me and him had 2 different skill sets. Yep. I was going to grow the front end, he was going to manage the back end. And then we built this nice little team of people that I'd spent 8 years working with. So I knew their skill sets, I knew their value, they knew my value. And then we kind of just went on this journey throughout that summer of doing more webinars, adding some more people into the business and the marketing, and it just started to scale. And I got to a point where I was doing within about 6 months about 100 grand a month.
Really?
And it's just blown up. And I think that is because we have solved a real problem. You know, I think the best businesses are where you're actually solving a problem, and there are so many businesses that need support, help, and education. They either grow and then they screw up because they don't have the support, or they don't grow because they're afraid of what can go wrong.
So knowing everything, you've been there, you've been down there, you've had the ideas, you always knew you want to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So if there was one bit of advice for all the young entrepreneurs out there, including 18-year-old JV back in, what's the kind of big single best bit of advice you could go back to either you as a younger self or young entrepreneurs wanting to get into this world?
Get a mentor.
Right.
Yeah, someone that's got your back.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you waste so many years working it out on your own and making mistakes. And
so this is to avoid naivety and not knowing what you know, that kind of thing.
yeah, absolutely. Most people start the business because they're good at the job. I started up because I was a good plumber, but I'd not done any business education. And so that was a disadvantage.
But that is the same for a lot of people. You know, my background was 18 and a half years in John Lewis.
Yep.
And I was their customer support manager and worked my way through to that. Barry worked for a company as well.
Well, I was a salesperson. Yeah.
We then
the business.
both took redundancy, both thought, oh, let's do it, let's give it a go. And we're like 11 years in now, and it wasn't until we joined Trade Mastermind that actually you think, we do need to be doing marketing, we do need to be doing this, we do need to, you know, and you have to, we were doing it.
Right, and you just do the same things, and the same things were repeating. So our business went like that at one point in 2018.
Yeah.
And then about 2021, 22, just started to figure it, and then plateaued.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, why is it plateaued? Well, because we're doing the same thing we did last, you know, and that's why coming to Trade Mastermind, you know, I think after our first event was like, do we want to spend this money? It's like, we've got to spend this money. If we keep doing what we can do,
we're never going to make a difference.
And
and opener, you know, what I've always brought to the business is the customer service element of it. And I believe that is my strength, Barry, is it?
It ain't cooking.
It isn't that. No, definitely not. That's my strength. But at the same time, now we have a structure and we have a plan and we know what we need to do. Well, rather than just making your way through day in, day out.
Sometimes the plan that JV keeps telling us to go down every time we bump into him in the building, and he says, have you done this yet? And I have to go, no.
Yeah.
But what we're doing is we're making excuses, like Joe said earlier. We just keep making the same odd excuses.
I've left the room then. Is that what? Is it the same excuse as I used last time?
Yeah. Like to say, all right, wait till Barry comes back. We're getting he's up today.
Can we keep that one off camera? Slide up. Oh, it's been saying it to me for about a year though.
Yeah.
And I always say, I turn to you all the time and say, it's so obvious that it's what we need to do.
Yeah.
But it is that, like going back to what you said earlier in terms of having that confidence, do you get funding? Do you just look at your numbers and go, can I afford this? I think you last said to me is like, if you took on an operations manager for X, how many more facial software jobs do you need to sell to pay for that person? And when you broke it down like that, he's like, well, maybe 2 or 3 jobs.
Yeah.
And you kind of go, hold on a minute.
But what Joe did say to you is he can see the fear in your eyes of making that next big step. And that's where we need to...
There is that fear. There's no doubt about it. Taking a big step to take... We've taken on people before. We got stung. And I think that kind of sits in the back of your mind.
What did you get stung on?
Because they weren't good.
Yeah,
and
quality.
Bad quality. Invested in it, and you invested it. Yeah, probably bad quality.
Yeah.
We hired you.
You have to learn from your lessons.
The interviews were via... he was sat in a van on his phone, and we kind of...
So that one bad experience has put you off?
I think it has, yeah. Well, no, I know it has.
But we need to get over it. We've been doing this 11 years. We're not doing. We've got to be doing something right.
Yeah.
So we just need to build on that. And the only way we can build is get away from the day-to-day and get somebody in to help us.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The next 2 are probably not going to be very good.
Great, thanks.
Thanks for that.
I've hired 1,000 people, and it's like I've currently got 60. With that, to the 240 didn't make the grade.
Just to put the pressure back onto you guys though, because we have now signed up with your recruitment people. So
are they not pulling their weight?
No, we've had some good people come out of it.
Yeah.
We're going to try and have a meeting with them afterwards, and it's about now the next step is about this operations person. The fitting end.
I was hoping from that day that was going to be the first one.
I know. After a 1-to-1, I know. But it wasn't. We did really need some guys at the front end doing the fitting, and we found some real good ones actually. So they had, from that point of view, they've been good. So we need to take the next level.
Pull the trigger.
Yeah.
We do need to pull the trigger.
Just remember, they're going to be 70% of how capable you are. Don't set the standards that they're going to be Barry 2.0 because it ain't going to happen. right? They're going to be Barry.
I don't want another Barry. Thanks.
They're going to be 70% of how good you are. Yeah. And 70%'s okay. But they're never going to be 100%.
No.
They're never going to be as good.
That's not their baby.
No.
Yeah. It's always like, and if you try and measure everybody to your standard, you'll never hire anyone, and everyone in your eyes will be bad.
Yeah, exactly.
And so, you've got to lower your standards. And I use that term very, very carefully because I am a very high standards person. But if you make everybody, I'm forever on my guy's back, and sometimes I realize that they just can't. They just don't have the bandwidth to do what I'm asking to be done. But 70 to 80% of it is good, and the extra bit I'm just not going to get. Or you keep just churning through people to find the unicorn, and they don't exist. So
Joe, what is, you're expanding rapidly fast, doing fantastically well.
Yeah.
But what's your end game? What is your plan? What is the reason behind doing it? Obviously, it's not necessarily now for you about money because you're doing really well for yourself.
He must be a billionaire.
Yeah.
100 million.
Oh, right, okay. But
that is it. I expected to have it from him, I think. So I want to journey with vengeance.
Right, so that is your plan. But what is also your driving force behind everything you do?
Well, I'm building towards this £100 million exit, hence why I'm bringing in like the C-suite people, Lee and Sam, and I've got a CRO interview today, Chief Revenue Officer. I need to bring a CMO, Chief Marketing Officer, and so I've got the team doing everything within the business. I love this sector. I'm passionate about it, and I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon. So I'd like to be in a position where I can choose to either exit or keep the business. I am a big believer of success leaves clues. I follow what Cardona's done in America. He has a big sales training business. He's never sold it. He's always said that the business is such a good one that by the time he sells it, in 3 or 4 years, he could have made what he was going to have made anyway. So it's pointless selling it. And he used all that money and invested into real estate. So I'd like to get to 100 million. And have the choice to sell. And if I sell, then I'll use that 100 million and I'll go into private equity where I start to invest in other people's businesses and then just look to scale all of those businesses up and then hopefully make it to $1 billion.
Okay.
As something to aim.
So that's when I said I was for $1 billion and you said 100 million, I thought, I'm well out. But you still want to get to that billion.
Yeah, I wouldn't stop.
Right.
So you have a plan.
Your plan is what you're doing with Trade Mastermind and then what you then do after with it.
Yeah, it's just, we've now launched TGS. We've got an ecosystem. So I'm evolving the concept from just training to being able to sell growth solutions. So training, service and support for one fixed monthly price, which is kind of never been done before. And I think that would give us as a business like 20-year retention. Because the training, eventually, there's only so many years you're going to do training for. It's like you do 2 years and then maybe keep one-to-one coaching and then you might do Millionaire Mastermind. But it's like a 2 to 4 year cycle of that until businesses might just go, I've reached a level now where we don't want to grow. Not every business is going to want to keep adding on millions and millions of pounds every year. And absolutely every business shouldn't do that. No. Some people should build to what their version of success looks like, get to that, and then just manage that. Be happy doing that because growth doesn't come without its pain, challenges, problem, risk, more sacrifice, outside of your comfort zone. It's not a nice thing to do. Growing is painful.
Yeah.
It is just a constant painful journey. It's not a fun one unless you really enjoy the pain. I heard Ray Dalio say most entrepreneurs, entrepreneurship is like crossing a jungle. You think you're trying to get through the jungle with the aim to get out the other side. And in the jungle, there's lions, snakes, poison ivy, all of the things that are going to take you out. And you've got to navigate your way through the jungle with the view to get out of the other side. And then he says, when I got to the other side, I realized I didn't want to get out and I love living in the jungle. I was like, actually, to be fair, I think I'm kind of like that. I'd get out.
That's what I was just thinking.
And
I can't imagine you not being at this level of pace. I couldn't imagine you exiting and sitting there going, right, what do I do now?
To street balancers. And now, whether that's age or whether that's family lifestyle or anything else, there's usually something that then changes your
Your job.
thought process.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, so on the road to 100 million and see what happens in the next. I'd ideally like to get that done by 38 if I can.
okay, and you're how old now?
35 now.
35.
Nearly 36. I've got 2 more years to execute. And yeah.
I love the way he says it negatively. I'm sitting here at 50 and he's like 36. What was I doing at 36?
Yeah. So, Joe, what I want to do is just a few quick fire questions. And this is just to get to know a little bit more about you. I have seen this on a TikTok mentioning no names, but they came up with some really good answers, so no pressure.
Go for it.
So most of them, but the last one is a simple, straightforward, first thing that comes to your mind answer, okay? First question. When something goes wrong in your life, who is the first person you'll call?
My mum.
What's the best advice you've ever been given?
Don't wait for opportunity, create it.
What do you think when you look in the mirror?
My hero. I love you.
I eat chocolate.
When did you last cry?
Last night.
Okay.
Before I came to work this morning.
When I finish at the end of the day.
What's more important to you, being well-groomed or punctual?
Groomed.
How long do you spend getting ready in the morning?
25 minutes.
What makes a good man?
Taking care of his family.
What's your favourite household chore? You don't do any.
Taking a shot and done something to my standards.
And tell the chef what you fancy.
Yeah.
Clean shaven or facial hair?
Facial hair.
Obviously.
Tough exterior or are you an open book?
Both.
Okay. What's your guilty... Okay, fine. What's your guilty pleasure? No rude answers, please.
Into Barry
Sweets.
Sweet. Okay, one word, just one word that describes you.
Legend.
Legend and hero.
Are you an early bird or a night owl?
Early now.
Okay. And if you could have dinner with 3 people, dead or alive, who would they be?
Elon Musk, Donald Trump,
Oh, what a dinner.
Can you have them in the same room now?
Margot Robbie.
Oh.
You want to add us female dimension? 2007 Transformers Megan Fox.
Brilliant. That's it.
Can I just Donald
you
Trump on
only
that side? Can I come in that room with you?
Yeah, funny that.
That would be a room, wouldn't it?
Thank you very much, Joe.
That was good fun.
We are so pleased that you joined us. We are very grateful because we know how super busy you are. So thank you very,
Like I said,
very
it was 3 months in the making. We've finally got Joseph to join us. It's our 6th podcast. We hope you enjoyed listening and watching. And thank you for joining us.
A big round of applause to you guys. You've done an amazing job. Thanks very much.
Stop, man. Cheers. Right.
But I've just got to say one quick thing. Do you remember when we first joined and we were sat in the room and you just came in and went, right, we were going to do a podcast. I actually thought I was going to pass out.
I know, you're so confident.
I just went white. I was just like, my
You
heart's
guys are
racing.
good,
I'm sweating. I was just like, oh my God, there's no way I can do it. And now this is our 6th one. So thank you for giving us,
Tell you
well, giving me the confidence to do it. So thank you.
I was super smooth.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Point of view, wasn't it?
No, thank you. It's absolutely brilliant.
I think you should ask those questions to Barry now. Why don't you do it again?
Right. Okay.
Oh, for
I know the answer.
Yeah, no, hold it here.
Sorry.
And like you said, it will be good for the audience to listen to it. Give you some more shorts.
Yeah, that is true, actually. I did think I knew the answers, but I might actually be wrong now. First question. When something goes wrong, who do you call?
you.
Good answer. Right answer. Well done.
Oh, hold on. Is it so you?
What's the best advice you've ever been given?
Get an operations manager.
What do you think when you look in the mirror?
Grow your hair.
When did you last cry?
Oh gosh. Probably within the last 2 weeks.
What's more important, well-groomed or punctual?
Punctual.
How long do you spend getting ready in the morning?
10 minutes.
What makes a good man?
I agree. Family man.
What's your favourite household chore?
Cooking.
Clean shaven or facial hair?
Facial hair.
Tough exterior.
There I've got. This, give me something.
Tough exterior or an open book?
Tough exterior.
What's your favourite guilty pleasure? Sorry, I don't know why.
You know, that's why you're laughing.
What's your favourite guilty pleasure?
Watching Love Island.
One word that describes you.
I can't say this.
Normally say salt.
Honest.
Salt.
So, legs.
Early bird or night owl?
Night owl.
And if you could have dinner with
And mornings.
and if you can have dinner with 3 people, dead or alive, who would they be?
Ooh,
Margot Robbie.
dead or alive. Elvis Presley.
Good one.
Michael McIntyre.
Good fun.
And what's Mark Wright's with thing called?
Michelle
Keegan. Yeah.
All right, we'll end that there, shall we?
Elvis will help me.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Are you going to do Nikki to finish it off?
Oh, I'm doing then.
I don't think I know the answers.
Better do now.
Oh, God.
Okay.
What's it?
So the interesting one is the top one. I know that. Okay. Anyway, so right, Nikki, quick fire question, same as myself and Joseph. When something goes wrong, who do you call? And it ain't me.
My sister.
Yeah. What's the best advice you've ever been given?
Oh, that's a really good one.
We've
Look after yourself.
Well, not, yes, okay. What do you think when you look in the mirror?
Get some more Botox.
When did you last cry?
When I hurt my back.
It was in the car on the way here.
Right.
What's more important, well-groomed or... There's no point in putting punctual on it.
I'm really not punctual, so well groomed.
How long do you spend getting ready in the morning? Still going, aren't you?
Oh, harsh. Not long. Half hour. Depends where I'm going.
Right, just to confirm, that getting ready in the morning involved the whole hour journey here as well for my start. What makes a good woman? What makes a good man?
What makes a good man? Being a family man.
Okay, no,
Yeah.
what makes a good woman?
Being kind and caring.
What's your favourite household chore?
None of them.
What's the ones you actually do well?
No.
Ignore that, don't worry. I've actually got to go home and be in the same house tonight. So, well, obviously, clean shaven or facial hair. You shave most of it off anyway, don't you? Tough exterior or open book?
Open book.
Book everyone.
Oh, it didn't make sense. I wrote it wrong.
What's your guilty pleasure?
Emmerdale.
And it's not just guilty pleasure. She's done the studio tour internally. She's
So sad.
or external. Something early bird or a night owl?
Early bird now.
You was, yeah. You never used to
Yeah.
be. If you could have dinner with 3 people, dead or alive, who would they be?
David Beckham, definitely. Mark Wright, definitely.
Theme. Anyone look? This is a business podcast. So anyone that inspired you in your life?
And my mum, bless her. God rest her soul.
Yeah, fair answer. Okay,
Go.
that's the end of the quick fire. Thank you.
Thank you.